It comes full circle again because that grit and determination to keep going is mental strength, and how you can get that mental strength is by focusing on your lifestyle and diet. And I think that's why I believe in it so much. Like, it's all interconnected. Absolutely. And don't, like, you must have had it where you go out, get smashed at the weekend, wake up Sunday, and you're like, there's not a chance in hell that I'm doing anything apart from getting a McDonald's.
I am so excited about this podcast. You are listening to the Be More podcast. I am your host, Jack Williams. Today I'm joined by the legend that is Dave Templar, who has taken Instagram by an absolute storm in the last 18 to 24 months. He's producing unbelievable value and content, and this is his story and how he's literally today, on his first day, having quit his job, and what he intends to do and the value he intends to bring. This guy is doing bits. I'm buzzing to have had the opportunity to meet him, and I can't wait for you to hear this episode. Without further ado, here is episode 23 of the Be More podcast. Just to let you know, and then apologise in advance, the quality of the recording of me speaking is a little bit quiet and not all that clear, whereas Dave sounds clear as a whistle. That's simply because, as you know, I'm very much fake it till you make it, and this microphone that I'm using to record the podcast, I don't really know how to use it properly, and it was leaning in a way where it would pick up his noise from that direction better than mine. Now, I've realised now how to fix that, and it won't happen again in the next one. But yeah, if you can't hear me very clearly, all I can do is apologise. But like I said, Dave's adding the value here. He is the guest on the podcast, and everything that he has to share is of great value. So yeah, enjoy the podcast, and yeah, sorry about that, guys, but it will be better in the next one. Welcome, guys and girls, episode number 24 of the podcast. Today I'm joined by Dave Templar. Mate, introduce yourself. How you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Yep.
I'm very excited to have you on today, I'm not going to lie.
Good.
So, tell the Be More listeners a bit about yourself. We're going to do a 1 minute challenge. Your life story in 1 minute. Let's go. 1 minute,
God, right. So, grew up a single parent. Mum did very well at bringing me up. Throughout my childhood, I was very much into my fitness. I say fitness. I did gymnastics. Cheers, Mum, for putting me in a leotard. No, but one of the things, so obviously my mum brought me and my sister up, a single parent, and I did a lot of the stuff that my sister did. So we were both national gymnasts growing up. So I think fitness and discipline's been instilled in me since I was a young child. Got bored of that by about 13, 14. My mates were taking the piss out of me for wearing a leotard. So I picked up playing football. Played quite high standard football. Did a bit of athletics, taekwondo, judo, all sorts of stuff along the way. And obviously then went on to college, university, got involved with the sports clubs at university, continued with my football career really, and went out to America to play football out there. So we were playing for a feeder club for Chicago Fire, which was pretty good experience. And then I guess I was actually trying to chase a scholarship to go and play football out in America. Got an injury, came back, and I was like, right, it's either time to get a job and crack on properly or try and get that scholarship. So got an internship at O2 after doing a marketing degree, and then been there. Well, as I just said to you earlier, this is the first day of my fun employment, as I'm calling it. So I've just quit my job after 5 years to go and pursue other stuff. But yeah, that's a quick synopsis, I guess.
That was decent to me, but I didn't know the football bit. Interesting. So you left, how old were you went to America?
So I actually did my second year of university out there. So when I was 19, I did a study abroad. So I started off doing international business at university.
In Portsmouth?
In Portsmouth. And then, went to North Carolina, in the middle of the mountains in America.
How did that opportunity come up?
It was part of the course. So actually, one of the things is, I didn't like education growing up. Struggled at school. I did well at school, but it was hard to keep me motivated and attentive during my lessons. Went to college reluctantly. My mum worked at the college, so I went there.
Yeah.
And then I said to my mum, look, I'm not cut out for this education. I don't want to do it. She was like, well, what do you want to do then?
What did you study?
At college, I did business, media, economics and sport. And funnily enough, I completely flunked sport. Dropped it after the first year. I got an F in it.
Really?
And did really well with the business side of stuff. So I got an A in business. Media, got a B. And then economics was pretty hard. So didn't do too well in that. But then I was like, Mum, right, I'm ready to quit this. She's like, well, what are you going to do then? I said, I want to go travelling. So again, travelling is something that I've always enjoyed. She was like, well, how are you going to get money? She talked me into going to university, and we looked at a course, international business. So it meant you got to go travelling, study business along the way. It was just the perfect thing to do.
And 1 year in America?
It was actually the first semester, so I think it was about 6 or 7 months.
Good.
Which was amazing. Didn't play any football then, but then when I came back, I was in the university football team. and they had an affiliation with a team called Carey in Chicago, and basically they had again an affiliation with Chicago Fire, and they were like a feeder club.
Nice.
So we ended up playing against Chicago Fire under 23s, and some of the boys actually stayed out there. I wasn't good enough to do that, but yeah, it was a great experience, really good experience.
And was that what inspired you travelling, or did you do a bit when you were younger? Or
growing up, I used to go on a few holidays, but it was like cheap, what my mum could afford. So I guess I always wanted to see more of the world. After the last time I played football in America, me and a few of my friends did 8 weeks travelling around America.
Nice.
So we did, started in LA, went up to California, Vegas, San Diego, did an 8-week trip. I guess I got the bug from it then. And then, yeah, me and Jamie, who you know, one of my best mates, and I guess people who are listening may know Jamie as well, we always said that we wanted to go travelling. But yeah, I got too involved with work. He got set up with his own company, and the years and years just kept going by. And we were like, right, if we don't go travelling now, we're never going to go. So yeah, 2 years ago, we were just like, right, fuck it, we're going to go. And we just made the big bold decision and just took a year off work.
A year off in total?
Took a year off, yeah.
And you went back to the same job, or you just quit?
So I was at O2 for 4 years. They gave me a year-long sabbatical, went back to the same job, and I was doing exactly the same thing.
Nice.
Did it for another year, and obviously just quit yesterday. So
you both just saved and went had a year off?
Pretty much, yeah.
Spunked
it all in a year.
But best thing you've ever done?
Hands down, it was the best money I've ever spent in my life.
So real quick, where did you go? What was the best bit?
So we did, I think it was 11 months in the end. So there's a few funny stories off this, but we were supposed to do 2 months in North America. Somebody stole my bag and passport, ended up doing 3. Story for another time. 2 months in Central America, 2.5 in South. Then we did Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia. And then we came back, I think it was today, last year.
Wow. Best bit?
Philippines for me. So it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, amazing weather, absolutely lovely place. I also did a bit of charity work for a family out there. They got their house knocked down by the government. Did a little fundraiser through my Instagram account. Ended up raising £2,000 for them. Philippine Airlines picked up on it, and they sent me back out there on them to do, well, I guess to do a bit of blogging and stuff for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I've got a real soft spot for the Philippines. Yeah, and absolutely love it.
Nice. So that was life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to be one of these people who's been like, oh, I've been travelling, I've changed, man. I'm like this hippie now. But I think it just gives you a bit of a perspective. One, it makes you appreciate the amount of money you saved up to be able to do it. 2, you just see so much different culture and stuff around the world. And I'm not going to pretend that I didn't just get smashed the whole way around the world. Like, it was fun at the end of the day.
Didn't you do like a 365 day get smashed?
Yeah.
Do a hit the whole way through?
Yeah. So I guess before I went, I was very much focused on getting in shape to go travelling, and I was saving money. So I was in pretty good shape before I went.
So how did you get in shape?
I did Joe Wicks's 90-day plan.
Nice. And how was that?
Yeah, I really liked it. Really liked it.
And that was just basically diet plan and training the whole way through. What did you do?
Yeah, so I guess he gets you in these 3-week cycles, 3 lots of 4 weeks. The first one's about losing weight, the second one's about shaping up, and the third one's about sustaining that. So I basically took on the principles of the sustain one while I was travelling. So he's very much HIIT focused, which is good for when you haven't got a gym and you want to maintain your body shape, keep your body fat low. And yeah, it was just eating in the calorie deficit. Okay, I wasn't eating in the calorie deficit at all, and my weight fluctuated a lot while I was away. But yeah, I tried to be clean when I could to make up for the times when I was a bit overindulgent.
Nice.
But yeah, made a hashtag called 365 Days of HIIT, and I said to myself that I was going to do a workout every day for a year to keep myself accountable. When I first started doing it was funny because my mates were like, what the fuck are you doing? You've got 400 followers or something stupid like that. It was like, nobody cares what you're doing. And it was quite tough actually when I first started doing it, because everyone was like, what are you doing? You're a beg, stop doing it. Like, no one cares what you're doing. But for me, it was just a way to make myself accountable for staying in shape while I was away. And I love the whole social media marketing side of things, and I thought, I've got a bit of rare content that not a lot of people are doing. I was filming workouts in Machu Picchu, like all these different locations around the world, and to me at least it was interesting, and I guess a few other people found it interesting as well.
So you filmed every session and posted it on Instagram?
I didn't film every session. I think I storied every session. Not everyone made the Instagram account, but a fair lot of content.
Did every day?
I did every day, yeah.
Quality.
Yeah.
Quality. And do you still apply that now? Do you still do HIIT every day now? Or do you
No, so I did a lot of weightlifting. So as a gymnast growing up, I've got a foundation of strength, and I've always loved the strength element inside of fitness. Started doing the HIIT because I obviously did Joe Wicks's plan, but the second phase of his one is weightlifting as well. So it's German volume training, which I actually preferred that. But obviously you got no access to weights and stuff when you're away travelling and training.
So you didn't go to the gym once?
No, I did go. I actually did get in the gym, but it was sporadically. Every now and then you'd find somewhere with the gym, and because you're hopping around all the time when you're training, aren't you? When you're travelling. But yeah, when we were in a position or a location for a set period, I'd try and get in the gym. But yeah, it was
nice. And you got back a year ago today. What have you done last year?
Good question. So for me, it was very convenient for me to go back into my role that I was doing. It was funny because when I went back, nobody was expecting me to come back at all. They thought that this was a good opportunity for me to take a year out and then just leave the company. But I mean, for me financially, it made sense. It got me back on my feet. I was back into a company that I knew the role that I was doing. It's been an easy year for me from the 9 to 5 side of things for the last year. But in my head, I was very focused on what I wanted to do above and beyond that. So I was like, right, let me just chill in the 9 to 5 for a bit, earn my money, bread and butter, and then I'm going to try and do my other stuff on the side. So I think a lot of people look at what I'm doing and be like, what are you doing? Why are you quitting this job? But it's calculated, and I've looked at what I need to do in order to get money coming in, and now was the right point for me to sort of jump.
Yeah.
It's not as if I've just thought, oh fuck it, I'm going to quit my job. So when people look at me and they're like, mate, I couldn't ever do what you've done. How have you done that? Like, yeah, it's ballsy quitting your job, but I haven't just done it. There's some calculations involved in it.
So I was going to say, how was the transition from coming back to travelling to going back into work? If you already knew what you were planning?
Yeah, so
was it difficult, or?
I say now, I still don't really have a definitive outline of what I want to do now. That was even more foggy when I came back from travelling. I just knew that I wasn't cut out for the 9 to 5. I wasn't happy to be sat at a desk 9 to 5 all day, every day for the rest of my life. The transition was very difficult because I'd gone from having absolutely no commitment in the world. I was doing whatever I wanted every single day to back to being regimented, routine, 9 to 5, lining into people, managers telling me this, that and the other, and it's just, I don't like that at all. So it was a very difficult transition for me.
And now what's your plan? So what's your...
So plan now, excuse me. I've picked up a bit of a following on social media, and I still think there's a gap to enter the market, especially if you're doing something that not many other people are doing. So I'd like to explore what I can do from a social media perspective. I've got really good engagement on it, so I've just put out a free workout program this week, and I've had 700 downloads. So based on a 7,000 following, 10% of engagement is actually pretty good. So the job that I was doing at O2, I work in the online channel, and I know all about conversion and engagement rates and stuff. And typically, you'll see 1%, 2% is really good, and I'm seeing 10%. Granted, it's free content, so people are more inclined to purchase it, but I still think there's something there for me to get hold of. And I'm not looking for a quick fix for money. I don't just want to try and monetize it as quick as possible. I've built up this audience organically over time, so that's one avenue I want to explore. Basically, I was saying to you before we turned the microphone on, what I did is I sat down and I basically just wrote out every single thing imaginable that I like doing. So the whole thing for me now is that I didn't like my job at O2. I want to create a lifestyle. If that means I'm going to take a pay cut massively, but I just want to be doing something I like. So I wrote down on a whiteboard what I like doing. It was like everything from marketing, working out, fitness, girls, bikinis, like being in the sun, traveling, Christmas, literally everything. And I'm just trying to work out, maybe it's not one business, maybe it's two businesses, or maybe it's a project and a business and just things that I like to do in my free time on the side. I'm just trying to work that out now, exactly how I can build my own lifestyle as opposed to fitting into something that's been set out by a corporate company that you have to fit into.
Love that. So people listening who want to build their own following like you have, and that engagement, how have you done it?
I keep meaning to film a vlog on this because people ask me this all the time, and it's a weird one for me because I still don't think that I've got a very big following. I think 7,000, when you look at some of the other accounts out there, the boys that I've just done that program with, they've got 50,000 followers, and there's people with 100,000, millions. I guess it depends. It all depends on what you want to do. If you're just looking for likes, get your top off, get your tits out, girls, get your rig out, boys. But if you want to build a bit of longevity with your brand, first of all, I think you should find something that interests you. Because at the end of the day, if you're not putting your passion into it, it's not going to come across to other people, and you're not going to get the buy-in. So find something that you're interested in. It helps if it's something niche in the market that nobody else is doing, or if it isn't something that nobody else is doing, you need to be bloody good at it. You need to, instead of looking at Joe Wicks's profile, or we've talked about James Smith, what's going to make people look at yours? Why are you why have you got a different identity? Consistency. I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to post pictures sometimes, and even Jamie, my best mate, said to me, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I had analytics built into my Instagram account, and I was like, look, I can see that this time in England's when I get the most engagement, so I need to wake up 4 o'clock. And I was setting an alarm to post something to go back to bed, and even me, I was thinking, God, is this worth it? And I don't even know if it is now, but hopefully it has been. So yeah, unique content, put your passion into it, consistency, good quality. I myself have sometimes posted stuff and I'm thinking, is this any value to people? So that's one thing I say to myself, is this any value to people? Sometimes you do have to succumb to clickbait and stuff like that, and I know that when I post a topless photo up, it does get more likes and other stuff, and there's all sorts of algorithms with the engagement and things, and more people will see your content. But if you're only doing it once every now and then to get yourself out there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Which leads me on to the next one, is getting yourself out there. First of all, don't be scared to talk about yourself. No one's just going to come along to you in the street and be like, oh, you must be doing something interesting, tell me about it. You need to, without being arrogant or anything like that, you need to put yourself out there and talk to people about what you're doing. And then use the tools. I'm speaking very specifically about Instagram now, but use your platform wisely. So Instagram has hashtags. Don't let people take the piss out of you for hashtagging the shit out of it. It's a business tool at the end of the day, isn't it? You wouldn't ever sell a product without doing any marketing for it. So hashtags are inbuilt marketing within the platform. So I think to some extent you've got to do that. But I think the main differentiator is having good content. If people see and know you're doing good stuff, they'll go out of their way to view your content. So it's not as you hear a lot of people saying, the algorithms completely ruin my account. But if you're doing something good that people want to watch, they'll go out of their way to watch you.
Absolutely. So your time in the marketing world and corporate world has helped massively for success. Because you just know what you're doing. You just speak like a marketer would, whereas a lot of people go into it straight off the bat, they wouldn't have this experience and this knowledge to then build content based on what you already know. Yeah. That suits the algorithm, that suits the platform, that gets more engagement, that inevitably is going to sell whatever you do when you monetize whatever you're doing. You know? Yeah, no, you're right. I think there's a lot for me to learn still. So I've got a good background in marketing. I did a degree in it, and then I've worked in it for the last 5 years. But then, say I want to go down the food and nutrition route, I've got the marketing in order to know what people want or create stuff that people don't even know they want yet. But then I've got to learn about nutrition, X, Y, and Z. So, how did you learn about nutrition? Because that's something you're really.
It's a good question, actually. Yeah. So, I think so. It helps. I lived with a model, Sarah Ann Macklin, when I first moved to London, and she, not to go off on a tangent, but she's a nutritionist and she's trying to debunk the industry and get models eating properly. So I think living with her from the offset, she used to say, I'd come in, like, and for anybody that follows me on Instagram, I'll go out, get smashed, and I'll have a Big Mac at the end of the night, but she'd be like, ooh, what are you doing there? And it made me a bit more aware of my nutrition and stuff. I think the Body Coach plan is really, really good at nutrition. I suppose you do learn stuff about it. Everyone knows that you should be eating fruit, veg, whole foods, stuff like that, don't you? But I think media presence is making it more apparent now. We know what is healthy and what isn't healthy. But I also think as my training's progressed and I've looked at changing my body composition, I know what I have to do. A lot of, I guess, to get yourself out there, it's probably not, people probably don't talk about this much in the industry, but it helps if you've got a six-pack, doesn't it? I mean, as a PT yourself, people ask me this all the time, and I've been asked this before, like, would you trust a fat PT? And although it sounds really, really bad and you probably shouldn't talk about it, if you are what you preach, people will start to believe you. So I think I've got a protein sponsor, and that was one of the real turning points for me. I was like, right, well, I can't be carrying this extra bit of fluff, so I try my best to stay in shape. And I guess, you just learn along the way, don't you? You know, you start to learn about your body, start to enjoy different types of training. And
so you was always training really hard. When was the point where you thought nutrition needs to become a thing now because I'm not getting the results I want to get?
I think the feeling that I got from doing the body coach plan, I know I keep going on about him, but I probably did it for a year. I think seeing the difference in how you feel through having a healthy diet massively changed me. So even now, again, we spoke about this before, I try not to eat any chocolate or fast releasing carbohydrates throughout the day because it just spikes your energy and then you come straight back down again. So I think it's all about learning. It's different for every person, isn't it? So I think it's about learning what makes you tick as well as knowing what is good for you. So
following that plan kind of inspired you to learn a bit more because you wanted to do it off your own back rather than following like a meal plan there?
I think as well, as I've got older, so when you're 18, 19, 21, you want to go in the gym and lift weights to get your arms bigger, you want a big chest and a six-pack really, don't you? But as I've got older, I've been training for different reasons, so I'm doing it more for mental health as well as actually being healthy as well as looking good. So I think stuff like that, I mean, it's an age thing, isn't it? Older and wiser, they say. So yeah.
Mental health, going into that, obviously not really spoken about all that much, but the impact of training is huge, which is obviously what this podcast is almost about, like training, nutrition, and like any kind of self-development. How does it impact your mental health? Yeah,
so where should we start? So when I first graduated university, I got my first job at O2 as an intern, and I was on 15 grand, living in London. I couldn't do anything, so I got to the gym. That was about all I could afford, a gym membership. And yeah, I was basically working to live. A year later, they put me on the graduate program, doubled my salary, which was 30 grand obviously, and I was like, right, I've got loads of money now, let me go and enjoy myself. So I moved into London. I was going out, so the job that I was doing at the time was very much working with marketing agencies. If you don't know, the lifestyle of an agency is pretty much you work hard Monday to Wednesday, Thursdays client meetings, you go out drinking, Fridays boozy lunches, and you go out drinking again. Saturday you'll see your mates, again boozy, and then Sunday I'd go for a roast dinner and it would again turn into a couple of bottles of wine. So very quickly I had this money and I was getting into this cycle of working hard Monday to Wednesday, going out Thursday to Sunday, and then Monday comes around again and you're thinking, oh God, I don't want to go to work. And at the time I started to think, oh, I don't like my job. But what it was is that I was getting into that cycle, and I think this is mental health related. Although I haven't got any mental health issues, I think your diet definitely plays an impact or has a massive impact on the way you're feeling. So I did that for quite a while, that cycle, and I can see how people get caught up in the rat race, and like you start to think that is how you feel normally. It's not until you take a step back. I think I probably did like a month not doing it, and I thought, oh, I actually feel really good. I'm starting to like my job. I'm doing other stuff outside of work. And then, again, assessing what you've changed. You've stopped drinking, your diet's improved, you're exercising more because you've got more time to go to the gym and you're not drinking. And it's just an amazing knock-on effect of how being healthy, fit, not drinking can positively impact everything else around you.
Yeah. And how can we inspire and empower people to listen to what you're saying and listen to what we're saying and go and do it? Because it's, like you say, they're in the rat race. How do we get out?
Yeah, so I think me and you are very much on the same pages. So again, for guys listening, my ethos is something that I term LITNESS, and although it sounds gimmicky, just hear me out for a second. So it's the balance between lifestyle and fitness, and I think the key word with that is balance. So I don't expect anybody, if I was to take on a client, and I guess you don't want your clients to be like very regimented, they have to eat chicken and broccoli all the time, they need to have a lifestyle as well as that, because if you're sticking to something so strict, or if you are being so strict, it's inevitable that you're going to come off the wagon and binge, or you're not going to like what you're doing. So
just out of interest, have you been on a strict plan? Like, have you ever done that before?
A strict plan?
Like chicken and broccoli. Have you ever tried being like really regimented? And did you dislike it, and that's why you're like the way you are, or have you always thought, no, I like having a drink, I want to try and make this an all-in-one thing? Because for me, obviously, I've gone through the route of become this way because I did the bodybuilding stuff, and I had problems that come as a result of being too strict. Okay. And now I don't want to ever be like that again. You know, I want it to be about like what you're saying. But is yours just that's how you've always been? I've
got loads of gimmicky terms that I always use, but I like to be the science. So I didn't really want to do a PT qualification. I feel like by applying your knowledge that you can learn from Google or people around you to workouts, nutrition, anything, you can learn yourself. Part of the parcel was that I couldn't get enough credibility without doing a PT qualification, so I ended up doing it. But I think, I've done strict diets. It lasts about 4 weeks, but I had not, like, when you do bodybuilding, you do a strict diet and you've got something to work towards, haven't you? Yeah. I've done strict diets for no reason really, so you end up thinking, why on earth am I doing this?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I think is important. although, and again, it comes back to social media. I love Instagram and social media presence, but you're comparing yourself to people who are getting paid to post those photos. So I'm definitely guilty of doing it. I'll look at somebody's Instagram and be like, bloody hell, he's rigged up. Then we work towards that. But in reality, one, what's the point? Yeah, we all want to look good naked, but like, you don't need to be that ripped. And two, those people, they're getting paid for it, so they're willing to forego other stuff in their lifestyle to do that.
Yeah.
Your average Joe, I guess me and you, like you have a balanced lifestyle, I have a balanced lifestyle, we're both in good nick. You can do it. Yes, there's going to be a period of time in your life that you have to be really strict in order to get to that place, but once you get there, there's something called maintenance calories where you can eat and be balanced and you can stay exactly how you are. So yes, I've done strict diets. No, I don't like them. I very much believe in this balanced lifestyle of litness. Again, sounds really gimmicky. Balancing lifestyle fitness, getting lit along the way. But I think it works for me, and I just want to prove to people that, yes, anything that you want is hard work, but it's worth working for, because once you get there, you can afford to be a little bit more relaxed. And I think not only in fitness, it applies to other stuff. There's always going to be a period of time where you have to work super hard in your life, and then when you get there, you can start to reap the rewards of it and enjoy it a little bit. So, yeah, gone off on a tangent there, but...
Fucking good one. I like that. Cool, so where were we before? That's a complete tangent, but that was good.
We're talking about strict diets.
Yeah, I interrupted you, didn't I, saying because before we were talking about your ethos.
Yeah.
And build it into a lifestyle, which I think is what's going to appeal to people. They'll be listening to this thinking, hang on a minute, I want to do that because that sounds appealing, whereas following something that's really not appealing just to get in shape, to then inevitably binge and be out of shape again. Like, people can lose weight, everyone knows how to lose weight, but it's keeping the weight off which is the problem, which is obviously what we're trying to represent now. We're offering like a education and inspiration around doing things in a way that is balanced, and is going out and getting smashed like everyone still wants to, and how to tie it in, and also understand that doing that may negatively affect mental health or whatever. And if you get into a cycle like the rat race you mentioned, how do we get people out of it? I think that's what we were saying.
How do we get people out of it? I think first things first, you've just got to give it a go. So one of my friends said to me, this is ridiculous what I'm talking about. So it's about a massage. He said, you don't know how good you can feel until you make a change in your life. And he was talking about having a massage, and he was like, do you get regular massages? I said, no, I don't. He went, go and try it and see how you feel. I went for a couple of massages and I was like, bloody hell, do you know what? My back feels actually really good. And I think it applies to anything. Like, until you stop doing what you're doing, you start to think that what you are doing is normal. So if you're going out getting caned every weekend, you start to get it in your head that, this is how I felt last Monday, so it must just be how it is. So the first thing I'd say to people is, stop doing it. Take 2 weeks off, see how you feel. If it's boring, some people, and I've got somebody in my mind now, they don't care if they feel better. They enjoy doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's
fine. Which is fair enough. If you want to do that, I wouldn't judge anybody for doing anything. You've got to do what you want to do at the end of the day. People probably think I'm preaching, saying what I'm doing. I'm not preaching at all. I'm just saying this is what works for me.
Yeah.
And you can't have everything.
No.
You can have a bit of the best of both worlds, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
We were speaking before. I recently did a social experiment, I guess, where I did an unhealthy week and a healthy week. The unhealthy week was really fun for the first 2 days. Went to the football, got smashed. The next day, got a Domino's. Really liked that. Then by the Wednesday, I was ready to get back on the wagon and get back into the fitness. But because it was a social experiment, I had to do it for the whole day. And I stopped associating drinking with having fun. So if you do something all the time, it stops becoming fun and it becomes a chore. So I think maybe it's not 80-20, maybe it's 70-30, 60-40, wherever it is for you. But I think you need a bit of downtime or an off period in order to make you realise how much fun the other stuff is.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love donuts. And I remember getting a donut on the Friday, I think it was, for lunch. And I was like, I'm buzzing for this. And I started eating it and I was like, do you know what? I'm not enjoying it. And it's only a treat when you do it infrequently.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think, to get people to do it, first of all, you just have to stop doing what you're doing. But it's having the willingness to want to change. If you don't want to change, then fair enough.
And it's so subjective, isn't it? We're not saying everyone has to do this. Like, if you're good being strict, then cool. Like, if you're good binging every weekend, then cool. We're not trying to preach, like you're saying. We're just trying to say this is a good way of doing things if you want to get the best of everything, I think that's what we're trying to represent,
Yeah.
But where can people find you, mate?
Instagram, so Temptation, it's temp_tation. as I said, I've just finished my job, so I'm going to have a bit more. Well, I'm going to put a bit more time into my social media presence. So I'm going to start vlogging, or trying to. So I think, well, my YouTube channel is Temptation as well. And yeah, I'm just going to try and get myself across all platforms. A lot of the content that I've got coming up is going to be good for me sharing on Facebook and stuff like that, recipes, etc. So yeah, I'm just going to become a bit of a social media whore and get my name across everywhere.
I think if you're thinking about doing something similar, just follow what you're doing. So I think you're just going to demonstrate someone with a bit of a marketing savvy as well, how to leave your job with nothing and be like, right, all in, let's fucking see what we can do and just see what happens, which is cool, isn't it?
I think that is another. So I want fitness to be part of my lifestyle. I don't think I particularly want to be a PT. I want to show how fitness can have a positive impact on other stuff that you want to do. Mm-hmm. What I actually want to do, short-term goal, is I guess influence and inspire people to do what they want to do. So as I said, I wrote down everything that I want to do. I think for the short term, I just want to, even if it isn't a massive success, I want to build a business and vlog it to show people you can do it. It isn't that difficult. These are the teething problems you're going to come across at the time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just want people to do what they want to do instead of feeling that they have to conform to jobs built for them by society. I think everything's massively changing now. Like there's no, like we were just talking earlier, you've set up a business online and you're making good money through it.
Yeah.
I think it's a generation thing as well. I remember people at work were saying to me, what are you going to do then? And I said, I'm going to try and do something through social media. And they were like, well, that's not a proper job. And people just don't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to make people think outside the box, do what you want to do and be happy. Some people are motivated by money. Some people want to be in that rat race, but some people love the whole cold calling, ringing people, whatever it is. So you just got to do what you want to do, I think.
The risk for you wasn't that hard then? You thought, do you know what I'm saying? You obviously got a lot of self-belief, a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah.
But was it still a difficult decision to make?
I don't think it was a difficult decision to leave the company, which is going to sound like a bad thing, but I think in this day and age, again, I was speaking to my dad about this. He and people of his generation used to stay in companies for their whole life and get their pension, whatever. These days, people jump around companies. So regardless of whether I stayed in the corporate world, I think I would have left O2 anyway to go and try something else, because all I've known is O2.
Yeah.
The matter of fact is that I don't want to stay in the corporate world. So the risk is that, I've chucked away a decent salary job to go and do something that I want to do, but I see the rewards as outweighing the risk, basically.
100%. You don't want to ever live a life of regrets.
No.
Plus, obviously very good at what you do. You could go and get another job with O2 or a different corporation tomorrow if you wanted to. You know?
That's the thing. That's the same regret. So like, I could easily go to another telco.
Yeah.
I get offered jobs all the time, like through BTE, stuff like that.
Exactly.
And you could just jump ship, earn probably a better salary than I was on.
Exactly. So really, there isn't really a risk.
No.
But there is a massive risk in not doing it, because when you're 50 and you're like, fucking hell. Like I've got all this ability to go and make a difference in the world pretty much, which is what you've got, right?
Yeah.
Or I could sit in a company and just earn a wage because that's what society's telling me to do. So,
definitely.
It's fucking cool, yeah.
Definitely. This is a funny one, because we had this conversation at work yesterday. So what I want to get across to people is that do what you need to do now, because a lot of future opportunities you won't know are coming yet. And what I mean by that is, like, Instagram, when I first started at O2, it probably was a thing, but nobody was doing it. And technology's evolving, which means jobs are evolving, possibilities are evolving, and you don't know what you could be doing.
Yeah.
So just... it's hard to get my words out here. So
the world's changing. I think in 5 years it's going to be so different to what it is now.
Yeah.
We'll probably look back on it and be like, Jesus. Like, I think if you're listening to this and you're like 18, 19, the world's really exciting for you right now.
Massively, yeah.
And if you're thinking, I've got to go get an apprenticeship or a job, and like, I don't know what the rules are now. I think you have to go get a college or apprenticeship, haven't you now?
I think so, yeah.
And even whatever they are, it's so exciting because you've been built up with that being the norm. Whereas for us when we were at school, Facebook wasn't a thing.
No.
Instagram wasn't a thing. Like, we didn't have Tinder when we were in school, whereas they do now.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're growing up in a different world. They're trained in these things almost, whereas we've had to learn it. But yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
And that's what, yeah. So jobs can change. The thing that's brought this up is I was looking at my time hop, and 5 years ago I put a tweet up saying, I love my job. The next one was, I've just been at Twickenham because they sponsors of O2.
Yeah.
I've just been at Twickenham the whole day. I absolutely love my job. Now, when I think about my job, I'm like, oh, I hate it. I don't hate the job or hate the company. I've just outgrown it, and I've seen other opportunities through technological advances, me growing up and seeing other paths I want to go down. So I think another thing that I want to get across, as well as fitness being a positive impact on what you're doing, it's just say yes to everything and do the stuff that you have to do right now. So like, I've put a graft in for 6 years nearly at O2, learning the basics of marketing. I got a degree, did the job, and then I've seen this opportunity through social media, and I want to go and pursue it. And that's not to say there could be something else in 5 years' time and it will change my path again. I just think don't be so hasty to want to do other stuff. Get your grounding and foundation of what you're doing now, and then if you do go off on another tangent down the line, then just grab it and do what you want.
That's such a good point. Like I'll see Facebook memory things all the time, be like, how different is my life now to then? But like, no different. Like I was happy then, just like I'm happy now. But life just changes, right? Yeah. And then you're so right. Like just take everything you can and run with it, rather than think, what if?
Yeah, definitely.
In 5 years' time. So, any more travel plans?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to Bali for July.
Are you?
Yeah.
For the whole month? For
the whole month, hopefully, yeah. So, well, I'm going to Ibiza on Monday, which will be a bit more lit than fit. There's another tagline for you. Ibiza Monday, and then I need to crack on throughout June, just doing my own things. I'm working on a recipe book, so I want to get loads of recipes done for that. And then my sister lives in Australia. She's out in Bali for a wedding for the first 2 weeks. So I'm going to go and see her because I don't see her very often.
You've been to Bali before?
No, never.
Oh, you want to get out there?
Yeah. And then I'm actually going to do a CrossFit retreat. I'm going to go and do CrossFit for 2 weeks in Canggu.
Place where there's a local guy out there now, actually. I don't know.
Somebody mentioned this to me. Is his name Dean?
Yeah. Dean Vallis.
Yeah.
He's
so there's
rigged up.
Yeah, he's very rigged up.
Against him.
I think he's an ex-Marine, isn't he?
Yeah, he's strong and just crazy fit.
Yeah.
So go head to head with him in the WOD. He'll pull your pants down.
God. But no, there's a CrossFit gym. I think it's called CrossFit Wanderlust.
Yeah, that's it.
In Canggu.
The guy who runs that is cool.
Dave Driscoll?
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
So yeah, I'm going to go out there and do that.
Again, he's created a massive brand through social media, so it just shows what the power of social media is.
Yeah.
And he's built like a massive CrossFit gym out there that has visits like loads per day just on hit for him.
Yeah.
Just because of his brand, and then you're going to go out there, and then your followings will be like, cool, that gym's cool. You've got another 7,500 people that'll be like, I'm going to go see his gym.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works, isn't it?
Social media is like a crazy thing, and it's only going to evolve. Because people like Mark Zuckerberg are cleverer than you can ever imagine.
Exactly.
Like, we'll do this next, and you'll be like, okay, the platform's changed, you've got to evolve with it, and it'll just make the world even better.
Yeah. It's one of them things, isn't it? Like they're constantly evolving it, and you're thinking, oh, why have you done that? But they're so good at marketing and social media that they're providing stuff that you don't even know you need yet.
Yeah, it's like Instagram stories when they come out, you're like, what's that?
Yeah.
And now your stories are like mental now, aren't they? Your main form of engagement.
Yeah.
And for you, almost the story is more powerful than a YouTube channel now.
Exactly, and that's what's the hardest thing. So, looking at all the different platforms you've got to get yourself out there, YouTube is massive.
Yeah.
But Instagram stories is just so convenient and it's instant, isn't it? You can get yourself out there, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Because I've done stories on a night out and then woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh god, what have I done that for?
You always say, I'm not going to make it out for a session in the morning, and when you do, I'm like, fair play. Fair play.
There's been a few times though where I've said I'm going to make it up and I've definitely overslept my alarm. But I think Instagram stories is a weird one, isn't it?
Like, that accountability you're getting from social media, if you want to get in shape, just put on social media.
That's another thing I'd say. No matter how many followers you've got, if it makes you accountable to do something, if there's one person following you, even if there's nothing, if there's nobody following you, you've given yourself the accountability by putting yourself out there for somebody to potentially have seen it. And if that's enough to get you in the gym, then so be it.
It does work.
It works massively.
Like your friends, they say that thing, they keep your enemies closer. If your enemies are following you on Facebook and that you told them you're going to get in shape, they will love it if you fucking
100%. 100%.
So just use it as like a platform that, right, I'm going to get in shape. These two Muppets have inspired me to put on social media and then just go and do it.
Do it. And don't let anybody tell you you're stupid or it's embarrassing or...
We both had so much grief from our mates and doing social media.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Whereas now, they don't really give me shit.
No, I don't.
I still get banter, which is funny. But it won't stop me from putting things out. Whereas before, it might have done a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now...
Don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm walking down a crowded street and I'm like, I'm not going to get my phone out and start Insta story now.
That can be difficult.
Yeah.
But
no, I got so much stick. Do you know what? The funniest thing is, I was actually embarrassed to tell people I was doing it at the start. So because I didn't have very many followers, nobody really knew this account. And then I think I had just hit 1,000 followers, and then all my boys found out, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Oh god, they found out." And luckily, I was travelling at the time, and I can just remember the WhatsApp group going off. And then I've overheard conversations now, and they're actually like, "Fair play." Like you actually. Got a couple of sponsors now. I'm getting a bit of money through it, and it's a platform now to do other stuff. So,
and as long as you stay true to yourself, if you're being a completely different person on social media, then your mate's gonna be like, "Well, he's a prick."
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just being genuine, they'll be like, "Yeah, it's funny, it's banter, but he's also being himself." So fair play.
Am I the same? Because me and Jack have never met before. So, am I the same person that I am on? Yeah, good.
Just top man. Like, I've followed you for quite a while now. I don't really watch people on social media because I'm doing it myself all the time. I don't really want to just always watch. You know what I mean, I'm trying to act rather than watch people.
Yeah.
But yeah, to genuinely follow you because you've got that genuine side to your social media, whereas a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So to stand out like Dave has, just be genuine.
Yeah, I definitely, I'd agree with that. You have got to be you at the end of the day. If you are boring, it's probably not the right thing for you. And it sounds bad saying it, but like, I've followed and unfollowed people because they're just not engaging with their content. Like, it's about finding what you are good at.
Yeah, but it might be written form. It could be you could be a really good blogger, or you've got a blog, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, so I've got a travel website called travelladvice.com. It started out as a travel website, so I've got hints and tips on where to go around the world. It's work in progress at the moment, so I've still got a few more things to write about, but I've started to use it as just my platform now for other stuff. So I've put that workout on there. I've got a little shop going where I've put a calorie calculator and stuff on there. I'm just going to use it as travel, lad, right, and then Vice is a popular publication, isn't it? So it's going to evolve into something a bit more than travel, just because it's too hard to manage multiple websites. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff on the blogs.
Nice. And you mentioned being genuine. You're friends with Joe Wicks, aren't you? And he's genuine. Yeah,
really, really, really genuine. Yeah.
So he gets loads of abuse from the industry, like the fitness industry, which is completely unfair. How does he deal with that? Does he not care?
I don't know if he.
Does he even know?
I don't know. I'm seeing him Monday actually, so I have to have a word with him. But I think people who are going out of their way to be negative about other people in the industry should be focusing their attention on what they're doing and not worrying about other people. And I think Joe's very good at. He's such a driven person. So I went out for dinner with him in Brazil last year. And we were talking about 5-year plans and 10-year plans and stuff like that. And he's such a driven person. He knows exactly where he's going. He knows what direction it is. And I don't think any little people like that are going to set him off his tracks. He knows what he wants to do. He's doing so much good for the industry. It baffles me when people saying he's doing bad for the industry. I don't know what they're on about.
Yeah, like he's influenced more people's weight loss than the people that are giving him shit. You know? So these people are just trying to get to the top by bringing down everyone else's buildings, like I said before. Whereas it's good to see people that's doing it just by trying to build their own, rather and just being nice to everyone else while they do it, which is, I think, what will give you a legacy versus these people that are just going to fall off the wagon
100%
in a year, 2 years time, because people will see that they're not actually in it for the right reasons and they're just trying to build, like, slam other ways of doing things, when in reality everyone's trying and everyone's trying to help people. Why would you then go and like slam a vegan? Because at the end of the day it works for them, right? So why should you go there and go, that's just wrong?
I think I've got a couple of people that I'm thinking of in my head, and their content is actually good. They don't need to do it, and I don't know. They're either being very clever about their own marketing by getting their name out there, by slating other people, or they've just got a massive chip on their shoulder and they need to not worry about that. If that is the case, they need to just not worry about that, concentrate on their own content, put good content out themselves, and just worry about themselves. Unless somebody else is being detrimental to what they're doing, then you need to get involved. But if not, just stay in your own lane, do whatever you need to do, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. I'm very much under the belief of, I'm really supportive of what you're doing. I love seeing people do well, and if there's somebody that I don't care about, you just ignore it. There's no need to go out of your way to retaliate or get involved with that. Support the people who you think are doing well and you want to do well, or just ignore the rest of the people. I think there's an element of, I'm going to say this now, so there has to be mutually beneficial stuff. So when you said to me, do you want to do this podcast? I was like, this is brilliant. Had a quick look through your content. It was like, this guy knows what he's doing. He's motivated and he's got a clear direction of what he wants to do. And for me, this is like, right, brilliant. I can get some free content out there. I've just rocked up to your house and I'm speaking about stuff that I'm doing, I know, and it's genuine and natural. This is great content for me. met a great new guy out of it at the end of the day, got some good content, and that's
okay.
like, so there is an element of when you're making these relationships, you need to get something out of it, because there's just too many people. I don't know, you're probably the same, like people asking you to do stuff and you're willing to do it if there's something else coming back off of it.
There's got to be a benefit from it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to slate anybody in the industry, or
Absolutely
I'm
not.
worried about what I'm doing.
And nor should you worry about anyone's opinion if you are going to start like creating your own content. Just and almost do what you're doing. Just document your process, whether it be building a business like you are through social media, or even just getting in shape. Like that accountability is awesome through social media. Just document it, like film what you're doing or whatever, and it becomes what you've done, really, isn't it? And it's what Joe Wicks did because he had a failing boot camp at one point. He's now making greater influence than anyone else in the industry simply because he had an idea, bit of charisma, like you said, just some recipes on Instagram, and next thing you know, he's making £1 million a month selling recipe books.
And there's people out there who are always trying to think like, oh, they're saying, oh, there must have been something else. Yeah. He must have been noticed before, But like, I'm seeing it now that if you do just put your hard work in, you come up with good content.
Yeah.
It can just happen overnight. I'm speaking as if I'm going to fucking shoot to fame in the next couple of weeks or so, but like, I can see how it can be done.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to be in this day and age where things like that can happen. Look, if you go on reality TV, you can become an overnight celebrity, but at the same time, if you've got good content, we've got the platforms now to get it out there. So if you shout loud enough, people are going to notice you, and if it is good stuff, then you can literally... I'm moving my hand up for people on the podcast. You can shoot up some stuff.
I've seen your ideas and I'm like really excited, but like if you didn't do it, like it would just be a fucking shame, right? Whereas same as like Joe Wicks, if he turned to boot camp and no one turned up when he did, and if he'd given up on that point, nothing would have happened, right? He just didn't give up.
But
that's what probably helps everyone stand out, because everyone goes through shit and everyone makes mistakes, but they just keep going.
100%.
That's what you need to learn from this podcast. I think anything, just learn through failing.
And it comes full circle again, because that grit and determination to keep going is mental strength. Yeah. And how you can get that mental strength is by focusing on your lifestyle and diet. And I think that's why I believe in it so much. Like, it's all interconnected. Absolutely. And don't, like, you must have had it, where you go out, get smashed at the weekend, wake up Sunday, and you're like, there's not a chance in hell that I'm doing anything apart from getting a McDonald's and sagging on the sofa all day.
I felt dreadful all week. So I was in Spain the weekend, getting absolutely lit. My mate's wedding. I felt awful all week. Yeah. I'm not drinking this weekend. There's no way.
Exactly.
Like, I just want to have a healthy week, and I feel better already now. But it's got to Thursday, I'm just feeling better now. And it helps I'm with someone now that's got a positive energy about them, because otherwise I'd be like, I can't wait to just...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so, like, it's annoying, because like something's just clicked in my brain recently, and it's all just fit into place. Like, lifestyle, fitness, motivation, work, everything, it all goes hand in hand. And it's when you can see that, and this is what I urge people to do, is make a change in your diet or lifestyle and see the positive effects that it has on everything else in your life. And I guess that is what I want to try and get across with my ethos.
And realise you can do it whilst having fun. Because I don't know about you, but we're having quite a lot of fun right now.
Mate.
I'm showing you having fun.
It
doesn't have to be boring diets. And if they see your recipes, they'll be like, this is sick. Yeah. You know? And we won't go into your ideas, but it's so good. You have to follow this guy.
Yeah. No, definitely. And again, this is another one of my quotes. I've got loads of them. But if you can't afford to have a glass of wine with your dinner, or a cake with your coffee a couple of times a week, there's something fundamentally wrong with your diet.
Yeah.
You're not going to get fat by eating one bit of cake, but if you feel like you can't do that, there's something underlying that's wrong with your diet. So if you get the 80% of your lifestyle in shape, fitness, diet, nutrition, then you can afford to be lit 20% of the time.
Legend. Thanks, man. I really enjoyed that. Top man. And just find on Instagram, it's temp.
Instagram's temp_tation.
And if anyone wants to contact you, just DM me or whatever.
Yeah, DM me. I'll reply to everybody.
What's your YouTube channel?
YouTube's temp_tation as well.
There you go. Consistency. Cool. Cheers, guys. See you in the next one.